Welcome back to BadgerBlitz TV, your Rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by my good friend, Rivals.com national analyst Clint Cosgrove. Like we always say, buddy, best time of the week.
Best time of the week. Let's go.
Let's
Let's be
get
awesome.
after it here today. I mean, another day, another big junior day coming up this weekend for the Badgers. They had a bunch of prospects up there this past weekend. Got at least, I think, 15 plus more coming here on a second junior day weekend for the Badgers. One of the things, though, that we're seeing and that we've been asked about in the Badgers Den, make sure you're in the den to let us know what you want us to be talking about every week. A couple questions here on the new staff's approach, because we've already seen them being much more aggressive in terms of offers, but as a fan base that has been used to the Wisconsin way, which saw a lot fewer offers, a lot more, I would say, targeted offers, if you will, how does this sort of aggression overall and this overall approach compare to the rest of the Big Ten?
Well, it's a night and day difference from the old staff, obviously. They're going after top kids. They're doing their own evaluations, just from inside little birdies and stuff like that. I mean, even some kids that are rated very, very high, if they don't think much of them, they're not going to go after them. And I really respect that. But I would say right now, they're being one of the most aggressive teams in the Big Ten there is. They're putting out offers with the best of them. I mean, like Wisconsin, Louisville. I know it's not the Big Ten, but they've been throwing out offers crazy in Illinois. That's the old Purdue staff. But I would say, and it's not just like spray and pray. They're putting out offers to guys that they will take. And there's a lot of schools that put out a lot of offers, and they're just throwing them out to cover themselves in the end. But I'd say aggressive approach, but you can be aggressive while being targeted, and they are doing that. They are offering high caliber kids, which we didn't really see in the past. I just, it's a credit to their evaluations. It's a credit to their willingness to put into the work, and then to have like back-to-back junior days. That's a lot of work. And we haven't seen that in the past. And I don't know if any other Big Ten team is doing that as well. So I would say it's the aggressiveness is up there. They're stepping in the batter's box, looking to hit dingers. They're not taking pitches here.
No, absolutely not. We're not trying to do a drag bunt down the line and hope to beat out the first baseman.
Develop the runner.
Yeah, exactly right. So in going along with that, you talked about the state of Illinois, but Michigan, Ohio, we know this is, the traditional Fickell stomping ground, if you will. Also Indiana, just because of the proximity as well. Because of this aggressiveness, do you think that we will continue to see more offers going out to sort of the top 20 kids in those states that the Badgers hadn't necessarily been targeting before? What do you see as the strategy, as you've seen sort of the way that they're offering kids moving forward? Do you see that as being more of a targeted area?
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely will. They're going to go after the best in the Midwest. You talk about the radius. The radius of Madison is slightly different than the radius of Cincinnati. They're going to be recruiting Wisconsin kids, which they probably didn't do much of at Cincinnati. Maybe an outlier or two. But yeah, they're going to stick with that footprint. They're going to stick with their connections, and they're going to go after guys within proximity who are the best of the best. There's a lot of good players in Indiana. Now, the depth from top to bottom might not be the same as it is in Chicago or St. Louis, but they're elite level players, although it may not be as many as Chicago or St. Louis, are as good as any of the players in any other area. And I'll say that for the rest of the Midwest. The elite players in each of those states are as good as the elite players down south. Out west, there's just not near as many of them due to population centers mostly. I mean, Chicago's a big population center, but they'll play year-round football here. It's a little different dynamic. Basketball is big here. So there's a lot of things that play into it. But yeah, I do think that they'll be aggressive in all of those states that are somewhat touching Wisconsin. It'll be interesting to see if they even get up there in the upper UP in good old Canada. So,
I mean, we've seen
you never know.
We've seen productive players come out of Canada for a minute now.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard is the one that always comes to mind for me, the former tailback at Oklahoma State. He was He was a great prospect. He was like a 5'8" or a 5'9" on Rivals. I remember coming out of Canada. Canada? Like, I didn't even know they made college
Yeah.
players up in Canada. So,
Yeah, I saw my first Canadian team play this year when I was at like a showcase at the beginning of the season in Ohio.
what was that
They got a dude
like?
going to Rutgers. It was like normal football. They played American style football. You know, they had a 6'5", like 230-pound defensive end who signed with Rutgers. I mean, uh, you know, the coaches were on the sidelines in shorts and flip flops. I loved that. It was kind of like watching a game in Hawaii. They were just from Canada, and the overall, you know, the same thing. I mean, the team wasn't really strong from top to bottom, but there were dudes who could definitely play Division I college ball, and as we've seen, one went on to sign. So, but yeah, going back to your original question, I do think we'll be aggressive in all those all those states, and maybe we'll get our first Canadian Badger as well.
That would be that would be really fun to see. So, I mean, we've already had a Brazilian Badger. I mean, he came out of high school in Chattanooga, but you know, Rafael Gaglianone, our former
Well, what
Brazilian.
about Vitali?
Oh well, no. I mean, yeah, I guess you know Vitali's Russian, so you know we've got our own Russian kicker.
And he was born there.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware.
Yeah.
I'm well aware. He's been on the
Yeah.
podcast with me and Bernie. Come on now. We've had Vitali around.
Yeah.
We love Vitali.
I was his ball boy.
How much fun was that?
If I didn't get the right ball in there for the kickoff, Vitali, hopefully you're watching. He would get so mad because Coach Palermo would like rip his butt if he didn't kick it through the end zone. So no, he was great. He was great. Like we worked together to get him the best ball for the field goals and kickoffs. I knew exactly what kind of ball he wanted for each situation. So yeah,
that's fantastic. Actually, which brings me to a segue that I didn't prep you for. Recruiting specialists. How is that different from recruiting normal athletes?
it's a lot different because the specialists aren't getting hit up every day. The media is not hitting them up. And really, to be honest, most coaches don't know how to evaluate specialists. So you rely on, you know, like Cole's kicking and Sailor and stuff like that. You kind of deflect to the experts in that area. And then a lot of the times it's either the special teams coordinator that will recruit them or you know, when I was at GA, I recruited and would sign kickers. Like that was kind of like my baby project. I learned how to evaluate them. A lot of my evaluation and learning too came from Jamie Cole. Like I studied him. I went and listened to him speak at the convention. You know, so it's really different. It's very unique. And you know, the other thing that you know you worry about is like, you know, if the kid's kicking off a tee, can he kick off the ground when he goes to college?
Yeah.
You know, what are they like when the snap's coming back at about 20 miles per hour faster, or when they have a big time rush coming at them? How do they react to those things? So there's so many variables that you don't even think about in the specialist recruiting. It's very, very unique compared to anything else in football. It's probably almost like recruiting pitchers in baseball.
That's a really interesting. That's a really interesting approach to that. I think that's. It's always fascinated me because you know I know Rivals doesn't really usually give out stars for specialists, whether it's kickers, punters, long snappers. Occasionally you'll see like a 2-star or a 3-star on them, but you know you don't see 4 and 5-star kickers, and that's
scholarship wise. Yeah, exactly. You don't at all because they don't get drafted in the first round. Unless they're Reggie Roby, but I don't think we'll ever see a punter or a kicker drafted in the first round again unless they can bang it from about 70 consistently.
I mean, Sebastian Janikowski was a hero of mine in a younger age. So, and he was picked in the
Was he a second rounder?
First rounder by the Raiders, like picked like
was he
19,
really?
I want to say, give or take. Yeah, he was picked in the middle of the first round by the Raiders.
Yeah, so if one happens once every 30 years, we're not going to throw 5 stars on.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, well, some guys who don't have 5 stars yet, but hey, you never know because there are some more prospects coming up to Badger Junior Day this weekend. I want to take a look at 3 of these guys who are new to some Badger fans, and we haven't gotten to break the tape down on them yet here on BadgerBlitz TV. So we're gonna do that today because, well, A, we know you love it, and B, I love it more than you guys, and I'm the producer. So we're gonna start with a really interesting, versatile athlete in Tysean Griffin. Clint, I know you've seen Tyshawn play a bunch. He's in your neck of the woods. He is dynamic. If there was one word that
Mm-hmm.
that I'm trying to use as a label to describe his game, he is a very dynamic player. Take us through Tyshawn and how you think he fits at the next level, because I could see him as a slot, as a DB. I mean, a third down scat back. He's got, all sorts of potential, and how you want to use that dynamic athleticism that he has.
Yeah, so I first saw Tyshawn as a freshman down at Gately. They're playing Kenwood Academy, actually, same place school that Marquise plays at, who will be going through soon. But just he was on the smaller side then. He's still not like a huge kid, but he's taller. He's probably 5'11", 6 foot tall now. Um, Thinner, but has filled out. But let me tell you, this kid is a player. After seeing him as a freshman, that was back when I was scouting. I sent him out to all of my clients. So he's a no-brainer Power Five kid. Sorry, I just had Qdoba. No brainer Power Five kid, and he picked up offers within a week. Now you're going to see mostly of him this past year playing running back. That was just based out of a need. He's a home run threat. He can run. He's very smooth in all of his movements. Great body control. All the great athletes have great body control. And he'll make you miss in space, and he's got the speed to take it the distance. Now, like you said before, where do I see him play? I said DB. You said, of course, I'm going to say DB, and I do realize that I'm biased towards defensive players. But, first time I saw him, he was playing DB, and he was fantastic as a freshman. And the last time I saw him, he was playing DB, and that was at the showcase this past MLK Day. He was at the Edgy Tim, or no, he was at the Boom Showcase. And he was absolute lockdown at corner. And keep in mind, there was receivers like Tyshawn Stewart, Talon Taylor, Kyan Berry, all those guys were there, and he can cover them. So this is a big time talent. I just love his skill set for defense, because I do feel that although he could play offense and he could be an impact player on offense, I feel like at sometimes there's just a lot of guys who are similar to a player on offense, whereas a defensive player, it's hard to find a guy who is special to play corner. Now you watch that last play and the way he hits the edge and how smooth he looks doing it, and how fast he is, and how skilled he is, and just the way he sees the field. He's not afraid of contact, But he does the same things on defense. He's extremely quick out of his breaks. Very little separation when covering defensive backs. He's great at making plays on the ball. But I mean, you watch this and it's hard not to like him at running back. I mean, it feels like the ball hasn't even been handed to him yet, and he's to the second level. So there's a lot to like about Tyshawn. He's a good kid. He's a competitor, and he's got a tremendous amount of upside, obviously, at multiple positions.
I mean, I like him in the slot just because of that. I mean, what you just saw, like his ability to slip out of those tackles. But, in the 3-3-5, I think you get more opportunities for that type of build of D-back to see the field and have an impact. I mean, you could also see him take him on slot, just as easily be a great slot corner. So it is.
He would be a phenomenal slot corner, because he's one of few guys who can really, like, he can stick you on a whip route, like he can mirror, and it just his overall footwork, and then his press ability, working with his hands, just everything working together. He's really good. He can cover, like he's one of those guys that can cover the extremely good, quick slot guys, and you can put him on an island, and he's capable of doing that. And that type of defender is just so valuable, and that's a big reason why I do like him on defense.
Absolutely. Well, let's move from the slot to the edge here. The next guy, actually, I'm sorry, I should say slot down to defensive end, because the next thing we're going to look at is Kellen Lindstrom. Now, he is a big, thick defensive end out of Columbia, Missouri, listed 6'6", 240, and
buying it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You know what? He's going to be there this weekend.
I want to get the measurable. Yeah,
get the measurables.
I'm going to get the measurables for sure.
Because if that 6'6", 240 is real, ooh boy, you've got yourself a special kid, and he's got some big time offers.
J.J. Watt.
He's got some big time
6'6",
offers.
240.
So he's an interesting prospect for me. Especially if you unless you're Clinton, you're super plugged into everything. You see a kid, he's not rated. He doesn't have a ranking here, but he's got offers from everyone. And you turn on the tape, and you see a big, thick kid who is violent and has angry, angry hands. And I love the violent, angry hands. What stands out to you, Clint?
Well, the frame, obviously, I know I said I'm not buying it at 6'6", 240. He's tall and long. He doesn't look like he's 240 pounds, and to be 6'6", 240 and move the way he does, you just don't exactly see that at the high school level, especially when they're at this age. Now, we'll start with his stance. I mean, incredible bend. And then his first step is he's got a quick first step. He's nasty. He comes with bad intentions. You're going to see a play when you talk about his nasty, violent hands here in a little bit. But he had a two-way go there, and he basically just ragdolled the offensive lineman. I can't wait till we see the play where he just absolutely destroys a kid with his hands. But you saw there pursuit, the ability to stay close and connected down the right there. There you go. That's all I needed to see. That's when I was like, turn off the tape. I love the kid. You see him play off a cut block there. I mean, everything's just so natural for him. He wasted very little movement, putting the offenders, the offensive lineman's face into the dirt, and then working laterally and making the play. His motor, he's nasty, he's fast, he's athletic, he identifies plays. There's just no stop. And now we talk about no stars on him right now. This is a kid who will be at least a 4-star player. I don't make all the final calls, but he is everything that a 4-star plus player is. And he's at a position of value. So you love the frame, you love the athleticism, you love his ability to change direction, the motor, the bad intentions, the first step, and the ability to play with his hands. He's very, very developed for a young kid who doesn't exactly play in an area with a ton of powerhouse teams. So there's a lot to like about him, and I do want those verified measurements because if he's 6'6", 240, he's going to be in a 5-star situation.
Maximus, holler
Conversation.
at us with those measurements after this weekend. Come on now.
Holla.
So one other kid that we're going to talk about here who's going to be there this weekend, who is an edge, might grow into a DN, not entirely sure, but he definitely can get after the quarterback. And I know it's a kid that you've seen very recently, Clint, and that is Marquise Lightfoot. Now, the tape we're going to throw on here in a minute, it's a little bit further away than you would really like to see some of the close-up tape, but even then, he definitely still stands out on the tape. How long have you known him, and sort of what are your impressions here on Marquise and his sort of overall fit into the Badger system and Wisconsin overall?
So I've known Marquise since he was a freshman. They said he'd be the next big thing over there. He had the frame. He was extremely raw. You could see it. You just didn't know how far he would grow, how good he would be. I was actually over at the high school yesterday. I walk in there, and first person I see is the guy who hired me at Dartmouth, defensive coordinator, Coach Dobes. And then I walk in, Arizona State's there, Penn State was there, Kansas came through, Cristobal was there the day before. Marquise is not only a great kid with a great frame, he's got incredible upside. He is a national recruit already. He came to so I had seen him in practices and games since he was a youngster, but he actually came to our Rivals camp series in Indianapolis, did a good job. But like I said, young and raw. Then a few months later, he shows up at our Atlanta 5-star underclassmen challenge. I said, you know what, guys? I told you where I think he is. I thought he was a 4-star type player, and we had him as a 3 at the time. I said, I'm going to go over to a different position. I'm going to let you guys watch him. And when I come back, tell me what you think. And I come back, I was like, so how did he do? And he didn't lose a rep. He was down there beasting all these kids from the South, and he ended up leaving with our defensive MVP at our Understar 5-classman challenge. And so that's the type of talent he is. And he is as good as he is right now. He is extremely raw. He is a very smart kid. He is a coachable kid. He loves football. He wants to be good. And so when you see a kid who's dominant, who has the want to, and the intangibles, and is only scratching the surface, like, he weighs a decent amount right now, but he just looks thin because of the way his frame can hold so much more weight. So he's a kid I'm really excited about. He's going to come with bad intentions. He is tough. He loves the game. He comes off the ball hard. You see him chase there on the last play. He's not only coming for for you as the quarterback. He's coming for your soul, and he's also trying to take the ball at the same time. Marquise Lightfoot's a big-time player, and, Wisconsin would take him any day of the week.
Absolutely. Well, Clint, I would take you any day of the week on my team.
Let's go. Somebody wants me. I love it.
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go. Always, Clint. Always. We will be back here next week with more fun, more awesomeness, and more breakdowns of prospects. Maybe a commitment or two from this junior day. You never know, Badger fans. They might be there. There's some guys we've talked about before coming this weekend. Tight end Grant Stack. There's a lot. Nathan Roy, the offensive lineman, who's blown up. I would like to say maybe like 0.01% because Clint and I said he would be a much better offensive lineman than defensive lineman. What does he do? He switches positions and gets off a lot. He gets offers everywhere. So maybe he's listening. If you are,
you got a crystal ball.
Great job, Nathan
ball.
Roy, for leveling up and getting after it, like having a huge junior year. I love to see that, dude. I love seeing some of these dudes, who haven't necessarily been like the next big thing since they were freshmen, right? Going and just like having a huge breakout year. It's awesome, especially when they're in-state kids in Wisconsin. So, really happy for all
when
these kids.
We've been watching them grow right in front of us.
I know, and I imagine that these junior weekends, especially, I know they're not actually like really doing drills and stuff like that. They're gonna get some measurements, but I imagine that they're pretty fun experiences.
Oh yeah, the guys I talked to last week had a phenomenal time. So,
any feedback from any of those guys?
Nah, nothing like on the record type feedback. I just know the guys had a really, really good time, and it seems like it's a little different than it had been in the past for junior days. So,
all right, that's interesting.
I think things are trending in the right direction. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we hope we're trending in the right direction here on BadgerBlitz TV. Like I said, we'll be back next week with more highlights, more breakdowns, more analysis, and more Clint, which is what the people want. So until next time, he's Clint Cosgrove at Rivals_Clint on all the social medias. I'm Matt Perkins at _Perko_ on Twitter. You can catch me and Matt Bernstein on Believe in Badgers. We've got a slew of new podcasts out recently, most recently with Taylor Amon, former 3-time Big Ten champ in track and field and American Ninja Warrior.
I watched that one.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had a lot of fun. So Taylor's an awesome person. So I'd highly recommend that. And until next time, make sure you are on Badger Blitz all day, every day in the den, checking out all of the great content we've got from John and the gang. And so until next time, we will see you guys in the den.
In the den, baby.